from the Mercy One studio.
Support for Iowa Catholic Radio and Making It Personal is provided by Sarah Vocations Ministry. Learn more at joinserra.org.
Making It Personal with Bishop William Joensen on Iowa Catholic Radio and iowacatholicradio.com.
Welcome to Making It Personal with Bishop Joensen. I'm Kelly Mescher-Collins with the Diocese of Des Moines, and we are live from the Iowa State Fair. Our guest today is Ben Robey of Holy Trinity Parish in Des Moines, who works as a carpenter at the Iowa State Fair. During this year of St. Joseph, who was a carpenter as well, in these days leading up to Sunday's diocesan consecration of St. Joseph, we thought it fitting to have Ben with us today. But before we get to today's interview, let's find out what's on the Bishop's mind.
Kelly, it's like a sensory overload. It's been over 40 years since I've been at the State Fair here. We're sitting close to the stage and everything, the Bill Riley stage, Betsy stage, and you've already given me a little mini livestock tour again, the sheep and everything else. I haven't seen the boars yet, but that's holding things in suspense are the Clydesdales too. So, and we walked, just for the record, we walked by all the beer stands and beer tents. We did not have any liquid green breakfast this morning, so we're trying to get in the spirit today and livening it up and things. So, one could just really be here all day, but it's great to be here with you and Iowa Catholic Radio and Spirit Catholic Radio Network as well. So those who stayed up a little bit last night saw Tim Anderson with the walk-off home run, the Field of Dreams game, Ray Kinsella lives, Kevin Costner was there in good form and everything else. So classic, just northeast of Dyersville, Iowa, and so that idyllic scene, that was one of my biking routes to kind of go by there. I wouldn't actually go onto the field, but a really exciting game. I think it delivered for everyone, including those who spent four figures or more to get a ticket to that game.
Gosh.
So we're, we don't charge people to come by the tent here. Our deacons are staffing here and things, and we can hear in the background our young voices coming through. So a lot of energy and spirit here. I don't think I see Simone Biles, but there's a lot of gymnastic skills going on, and obviously our Olympic athletes too. Many of whom were great faith-filled stories, either in triumph or in perhaps disappointment. But God is glorified in any way, and so certainly with Molly Seidel getting third in the marathon, women's marathon, her third marathon, and praying to St. Jude as she went along, drawing from her mother and perhaps her Notre Dame formation as well. And then Cindy McLaughlin, who herself, though not Catholic, went to Union Catholic Regional High School in Scotch Plains, New Jersey, and so glorifying God in her great faith. And so she was not, her family is not Catholic, but they saw in the Catholic schools, parochial education, something that was a good fit with the mission school. So I think that's a reminder to all of us in our support of our schools. And as our teachers are getting ready, and next week we'll have Daniel Toll from Christ the King with us too. But so whether she wins or not, but Sister Percy Lee Hart was certainly speaking on their behalf. So a lot, the cornucopia and the fest. And trying to read the cues from Jimmy, our station manager here.
No idea what's going on.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay, all right. So he's working with amateurs here. What can he do? So the tricks of the trade. And I got to see Jimmy in a different light last Saturday night as he was DJ for the wedding of Gene Wells and John Till at Sacred Heart, which I was privileged to officiate too. So on a little bit more sober note, those who are great pro-life advocates, maybe not as well known to Iowans or Midwesterners, but we mourn the loss of Father Joseph Koterski, who was a Jesuit priest at Fordham, which was a chaplain to the Sisters of Life, founders of the University Faculty for Life and Fellowship of Catholic Scholars, a truly great Christian man and priest at heart who died suddenly at age 68 this past August 9th. So I think, a true apostle in this way, and for many of us who had the opportunity to collaborate with him, it's going to leave a gap in that. And, kind of an interesting life story. He was born with a cleft palate. His parents had prayed fervently for a son, and actually made a pilgrimage to the Oratory of St. Joseph in Montreal. So St. Joseph came through in that way for them, and so his work not only with students, but so many, and I think his great witness. So we mourn him and commend him to the Lord, another noble Joseph, and all that we want to be about. So looking forward to this consecration on Sunday.
Yeah, very exciting.
And God is smiling on us with a little cooler weather, and it's just going to be a beautiful event. Conscious that the bridge is out there, so people beware as they make their way to Irish settlements.
Yes, go to dmdiocese.org to find the detour directions. We're going to take a quick break. When we return, we'll welcome Ben Robey, who works as a carpenter at the Iowa State Fair. You'll listen to Making It Personal with Bishop Joensen on Iowa Catholic Radio and the Spirit Catholic Radio Network.
Support for Iowa Catholic Radio and Dowling Catholic Sports is provided in part by Ashworth Vision Clinic. With 2 licensed optometrists, Barbara Sheets, a Dowling graduate, and Dr. Craig Harper, the Ashworth Vision Clinic team provides complete eye exams, contact lenses, glasses, glaucoma testing, and pre- and post-operative care. Ashworth Vision Clinic is located at 60th and Ashworth in West Des Moines. 515-440-4610 or online, ashworthvision.com.
Support for Iowa Catholic Radio and Catholic Women Now provided in part by Permar Security, providing security solutions for homes and businesses since 1953. Permar Security is a Catholic-owned family business supplying security systems, access control systems, video surveillance, fire alarm systems, and video doorbells. All alarm systems are monitored out of their monitoring center located in the state of Iowa. Permar Security, 515-244-5660, permarsecurity.com.
Welcome back. You're listening to Making It Personal with Bishop Joensen, live from the Iowa State Fair. Bishop's rocking out Star Bright by Madonna.
The other Madonna. We'll lift up the Blessed Mother, but these little 5-year-old dancers are so innocent and holy, just as long as they don't go to the other side as Madonna performer did at some point.
So we're going to welcome our guest today, Ben Robey. He's of Holy Trinity Parish in Des Moines, and he works as a carpenter at the Iowa State Fair. So he's going to tell us everything about the fair and how he keeps busy.
Yeah, this is the insider's view here, so thank you, Ben, for being with us today.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so making time, which has been truly, 20-hour days on some of these days, trying to get ready for the fair?
It's close. It's long days, and it didn't help that it was really hot last week, but we've got some cool weather coming in, and hopefully the rest of the fair is enjoyable and makes those days not quite as long when it's nice weather and good crowds.
Okay, and with the fair not taking place last year, did that make an extra layer of work for you all? Or?
It was kind of weird. So we had to kind of scrimp and save on things, so I ended up doing some things that weren't really part of my carpentry job. I had to clean barns and buildings off and on. But we had a couple of big projects that we started in that time off, and so we were pretty busy for the last 2 years, busier than we may have been otherwise, honestly.
Okay, all right. Well, but it seems to have all come together, and the fair will go on no matter what,
far,
right?
Yeah, we've got a good show, going here, and it was kind of a long road to get there, just with everything going on, supply shortages and labor and whatnot, but we're here, and we're up and running. Everything looks great, and hopefully the people of Iowa and the Midwest have a good time out here.
Okay, and we can rest secure knowing that you've done your job getting everything in place. All the
I tried.
Everything is in place as well. So, obviously big event in your family in June and everything with your brother.
Yeah, so it's exciting for all of us, and glad to see that he's settling into St. Pius, and we went to his welcoming mass, and it seems like a really great community there.
Ordained to the priesthood, yes.
Correct, yeah. So,
He doesn't have his calluses on hands like you do then, huh?
No.
You both imitate Jesus in different ways, right?
Right.
Your father and Joseph in that way. But your family, you grew up, and obviously your dad, Frank, also affiliated with the fair, too, has a role. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
He's actually my immediate boss. He he's the assistant director of maintenance.
How does that work out, having your dad as your boss?
Well, so I'm really good at separating the two, but we have another boss who is the director of maintenance, who kind of oversees more, does my reviews and whatnot, so kind of separate a little bit.
Making it personal with Bishop Joensen, making it personal with your father.
Well, see, the downside is people would say, you get special treatment. It's the opposite. He knows what I can do, so usually I get the jobs that, hey, you need to go do this.
Yeah. I had some summer jobs with my dad as my boss.
Why don't you just go do that?
Yeah.
But St. Joseph Parish, and then Dowling Catholic High School, and then where did life unfold from there that leads you here?
So I went to Colorado State University to study fisheries biology. I love fishing. That's my passion. And wanted to learn all I could about fish. Loved learning about them. But turned out I didn't really want to do that. Grew up knowing carpentry. My dad was a carpenter. My grandpa was a carpenter. And didn't realize I wanted to do it in high school, but in college I realized that this could be a good career choice for me, and it was something that I really found I had a passion for. So after college, I started at a commercial cabinet shop and kind of worked my way up there and got into bidding jobs and managing projects. And a position to open up here as a carpenter, and I started that about 5 years ago.
Okay.
And so here we are, and like I said, I love being a carpenter.
So you had really acquired all these skills just passed down through your dad and your grandpa and everything. I didn't realize that they were endowing you with a whole, and it would become a livelihood.
Right. So I grew up at the cabinet shop. I remember going there and spending days off from school with Dad. I would go on side jobs in the evenings, and I wouldn't really help much, but I would just kind of tinker around and just over the years learned all this stuff, and here I am today. And evidently, I guess I'm okay. They haven't fired me yet. So.
And your dad, in his attention to his craft, he kind of pointed you and oriented you beyond yourself, that you weren't the center of the universe, right?
Right.
Even as the oldest child in your family?
Yeah.
Good. So you didn't have to do a formal apprenticeship, or is there a guild or a union of some sort? Or?
If you're a union carpenter, there is a training program and apprenticeship and journeyman levels. But I'm not a union carpenter, and so there's really no training program. Something that I wish would change. I wish there was sort of a licensing program for carpenters, but otherwise I more or less self-taught and taught from family, and then just being on jobs and learning from other carpenters too.
Okay. Wow. So Angie's List is one way of betting people.
Right.
In that way. But so is there a particular area that, whether at the fair, that you get to exercise your craft that really is just really soul-filling for you? Or, it sounds like you're a jack of all trades, literally.
So, yeah, being a carpenter here, you've got to be really well-versed in all aspects of carpentry, and that's a huge field. We do everything from concrete work. I may have to go and dig footings for a building one day, to framing, a little bit of steel work, roofing, even drywall, and stuff like that. But my real passion is kind of more the fine finish work. I like doing, making custom cabinets or even just custom trim and moldings. One of my favorite projects here is Pioneer Hall, which is our second oldest building on the grounds. I believe the main portion was built in 1885. I'm actually doing a total exterior renovation of it. So if you make your way up the hill today, you'll kind of see there's a really old part where the paint's peeling, and then three sides are all new with brand new paint, and it all looks clean and nice. So that's a project that you've got to replicate what they built back in 1885, and the windows in there, we can't find windows like that we could buy. So I've actually custom made all the windows. Wow. And so it's kind of a neat project. I just enjoy doing that, and it's something that hopefully will be around for another 150 years. And just kind of neat to have your hand on that and say that I contributed to this.
Yeah.
So
really something that transcends, this earth in a way. So your sense of a legacy and passing this on that will outlive you.
Right, and that's kind of one of my favorite parts about carpentry is every job has something that is tangible about it. You accomplish something, but in carpentry, I can look at what I did every day, and I can show my family that, hey, I did that 2, 3, 4, 10 years ago.
Okay. Now, you're doing this project single-handedly, or do you have a crew of folks?
So I've been doing that one alone, but we do have another carpenter here, and we kind of split up tasks off and on.
What a massive undertaking, the patience.
It's taken years. If you talk to my boss, I think they're getting a little impatient on it, but we're going to get there someday.
Okay.
But
yeah. Well, don't get impatient, but you kind of set up, and, of course, the old philosopher is going to throw in one quote here, all right?
All right.
And this is from Fabrice Jod reflecting on to be a father with St. Joseph, okay? But he cites Charles Biggie, and he really shines a light on wood among all the different materials that people can have. The one who works with beech or oak feels the tip of the tool. He enters into harmony with the material. For wood, neither too hard like stone, nor too malleable like molten metal, possesses the consistency, the texture that lends it especially to human craftsmanship. And so just tender enough to allow operation to emit the tool, and immediately without also having to hammer to forge and force. And then he continues just a little bit. Bronze, iron, and concrete are cast and can be molded to all shapes. They are prostituted materials, says McGee. They give us the illusion of being the sovereign masters of creation. Wood is located halfway between the living and the object, It encourages us to care for trees and to work for houses. It invites a craftsman's gesture that is an extension of the grove. So, we'd have to meditate on that, but that's, I think, kind of what you've kind of highlighted by your own experience and your own intuition.
And that's kind of how I feel, I guess. Sometimes maybe it's a little more philosophical than I need to be about my job, but you really do feel that.
I'm not going to discourage that.
We'll get I'll order some lumber, and it may be oak or cherry or something, and you just kind of admire it sometimes, like, wow, that is just a beautiful board, and that must have came from a fantastic tree, and now we're going to make something beautiful with it, and and more in a sense kind of honor it almost. You don't want to waste it. It's just so perfect sometimes, and I don't know, it's kind of neat.
That reverence, if you will, for all things created and things that are materials given to us as gift, and they mold us at the same time. That we are honoring them too. So and that I think that's again, Pope Francis is reflected at times that we sometimes treat our own humanity as just an object to be manipulated as we wish. And we could think about that. With people who are struggling with gender dysphorias or other things on that front. So, but it's a palette by which we can paint ourselves, but the work shapes us in the work and the discipline. Do you ever get bored? No, B-O-R-E-D.
Yeah. Sometimes there's been a couple of projects where it just seems to drag on, and it's not really anything particularly interesting. I had a job where I had to tile some bathrooms here that we renovated, and I am not a good tiler. So it was just a grind, and you just want to be done, and you're tired of doing this project. But the nice thing, especially about working here, is there's always something new to go on to. So that once you finish one project, you could be doing something entirely different. So I usually don't get too bored in general or overall out here at the fair.
So I'm hearing you say that when you know that you have a certain excellence that you bring to it, you're more fulfilled, if you will, and if the job isn't quite going according to plan,
or if everything's just
you're
going
enduring
wrong.
You're suffering it.
There's suffering involved. Yeah.
So do you look to pass this on to your own family, or?
So I would love to. We've got a 10-month-old son, Jack, and he loves tools and he loves fishing. I've made sure of both of those things.
It's already manifested that.
I would highly encourage him to take up a trade. If it was me, or if I could shape him in any way, I'd say go a little bit further and be like an engineer or something. But he's welcome to do whatever he wants to in life. But I've always told people I love the trades, and you can make a fantastic career out of any of the building trades. Mm-hmm. And I think sometimes that's overlooked, that how fulfilling this lifestyle can be.
Mm-hmm. And we're heading into a new academic year, and students going off from high school to college. Maybe that's not the automatic step that they should take. Sometimes we just kind of presume that goes there, and obviously you have a university degree, but
and that's what I always advocate is if you don't really know what you want to do in college, don't rule out the trades necessarily. And even if that's the path you want to go, I would still recommend some sort of education. But the money is good in the trades, and just the quality of work. It's kind of, if you want to put the effort into it, then the reward will be great. And that's true with any career also. But I just feel like sometimes we just write it off as being, well, that's work that's below me. So.
No. I've always had a great respect and reverence.
I have a great appreciation for
carpenters
who
do not have.
I've used many carpenters in my house recently, so I very much appreciate that.
But you also have a reflective dimension here. That you're able to kind of look at it as a craft, and things. So but I hear you saying as a dad, your son is not your project, right? You're kind of allowing to unfold something that is gift, and you've been entrusted with him, you and your wife, and to do that as you go forward too. The animals and all that's here. What are the kinds of fires you have to put out during the course of a day?
Well, so once the fair comes, being a carpenter kind of goes out the window. I spend most of my time in the grandstand, and if you ever go into the grandstand now, we have all these chairs. They're black folding chairs. Well, my job is to set those out before the fair, and then there's a pit area that we have to remove and take out or place the chairs depending on the concert. So last night was Casting Crowns. They wanted to have seating in the pit, so we put the chairs in. There's about 1,400 in there. And then this morning, before I came here, I actually had to remove all those chairs because the concerts for the next few nights want standing. That's correct.
Dang, wish I had tickets.
So that's what I do. If there's a door that breaks, it won't open or it won't lock at night, I have to fix that. Bathroom partitions, maybe a door gets broken, I have to fix that. But otherwise, it's really just varied, and you have to be flexible, and you have to be able to kind of move and think fast.
Yeah. Here's a loaded question. I mean, does the fair bring out the best in people, or do you see other sides of human nature?
Well, for our staff anyway, I would say it's the best. For our team cohesion, I would say it's strongest during these events. Everyone kind of jumps in, and there's really no complaints. It's kind of what needs done, and let's get it done and get moving. And I don't care if it's not my job. We got to keep moving. Mm-hmm. So we're stronger as a maintenance staff during the fair. People, there's a lot of good, but then just like anywhere else, you get some bad apples. But overall, the people are really great. They try and take care of the facilities. I mean, there's no malicious acts typically, so
yeah. And it brings out the child in all of us, I think.
Right.
That sense of just wonder and to behold.
And back to the reverence. I think some people, they know that these grounds are old, and this event is a storied tradition in our state history, and they kind of have a respect for that and want to see it to continue to have that grandeur, and so they kind of care for it in their own way as well.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of innovation and obviously a lot of new things, but doesn't hard to kind of imagine yourself 100 years ago in 1920 and some of the buildings and things that are there. So it's just really a kind of a sense of belonging to something greater than themselves and a kind of community on a natural level that brings us through. So the fairgrounds, we've got our deacon community here. They're ready to meet people and things. They're doing a lot to kind of catch passers-by, kind of witness to the faith, or just chat them up in any way, and offer the opportunity for sacramental ministry, as some priests will also make themselves available.
All right, we're going to take a quick break. Listen to Making It Personal with Bishop Joensen, live from the Iowa State Fair. We're going to be back in a little moment.
Support for Iowa Catholic Radio and Making It Personal is provided by the Sarah Vocations Ministry, including the St. Sarah Club of Des Moines and the Sarah Club of Council Bluffs. Sarah is an apostolate of the Worldwide Catholic Church dedicated to fostering and supporting priesthood and religious vocations. Sarahans strive to accomplish their mission through prayer, fellowship, and service to the bishop, priests, sisters, and all in religious formation, and in doing so to increase their own holiness. Learn more at joinsarah.org, joinserra.org. Thank you, Sarahans, for your support of Iowa Catholic Radio.
Support for Iowa Catholic Radio and the Uncommon Good provided by Mercy College of Health Sciences, where you can chart your course for more.
This is Bo Bonner.
And I'm Dr. Bud Marr from the Uncommon Good.
Mercy College provides unparalleled clinical rotations, hands-on learning, accelerated education, and flexible schedules. Since 1899, Mercy College has been transforming students into healthcare professionals. Guided by Catholic values, our faculty put classroom theory into practice. Students are prepared for roles in service and leadership throughout their own careers.
Learn more at mchs.edu.
It's like, we're really pumping today. Welcome back. You're listening to Making It Personal with Bishop Joensen. We are live from the Iowa State Fair. We're back with Ben Robey, who's a carpenter here at the fair.
Kelly, not new. You got to quit dancing too here, with the music going on in the background. I'm sorry, I missed Casting Crowns last night. That would have been good. They always have kind of a Christian pop band to begin things as well. Mm-hmm. But I was actually on a bike ride, Dowling Catholic High School fundraiser with the group of folks there, so we had a lot of fun and things too. Now, the fairgrounds, yes, it comes alive for these 11 days, but this is an all-around year-round venture, is it?
Yeah, so we have a bunch of off-season events, anywhere from just wedding receptions that may only be a Saturday night to this year we had the Good Guys Car Show. We had the National Junior High Rodeo that went for a week. And there was a lot of cowboys and cowgirls here for that.
I wonder if my friends from St. Brendan and Leon were here. We got the rodeo riders down there.
She actually has something next weekend.
Okay, all right. Okay, good.
So all these events, and we kind of have to work around them. Most of the time they're on the weekends, so it doesn't affect me as much. But during the week, it's fairly quiet out here, and it's really peaceful.
Okay. All right. So, you can ride your snowmobile around in the winter.
Could.
Yeah. Do you see a kind of appreciation by people as they notice you? Do you ever get to hear people say, "Look at the Pioneer Hall" or things like that? Do you?
Yeah. So you hear it up there. A lot of people say, "Oh, wow, this building really needed something done," and it's nice to see it, finally happening. We do a lot of new construction here too, and so we just got done with the hospitality pavilion behind the livestock pavilion, and I've heard people walking by and just kind of admiring this structure and how nice it looks in the area. And so it's kind of they don't know it's me, but that's not what I'm going for. I just like to see that people appreciate that, hey, someone took the time to do something nice and make this look good.
Is there a sense of carpentry kind of as a vocation? We think it's something that we're called to beyond ourselves, or is that, you're obviously a father and, and a Christian
absolutely.
man.
And I don't think that every carpenter, every tradesman is going to take it to that level. But, if you want to consider yourself a craftsman, that's what it does take. It's got to be the heart and soul that goes into your work. And you could absolutely come in and just give your 40 hours a week and do a good job and still be a fine carpenter. But to really, take it to the next level, you do have to pour yourself into it. And it's kind of like that quote you read. You got to almost become one with the wood in a sense to get to that level.
Be one with the wood. That's our takeaway. That never happened.
Like something Yoda
that never happened for me in 8th grade shop class, which is why everything I tried was 2/3 scale by the end of the way.
Well, I kind of joke. Sometimes people will come into the shop and, well, what are you working on now, or what are you building? I'll say, well, I'm just going to start cutting and nailing these boards together, and it'll speak to me, and then I'll figure out where we're going to go. And they just kind of shake their head and leave.
That's fascinating.
Well, it's a joke.
Oh, you had me. You led me. You hooked me all the way there. Well, cuts into your fishing time though, then, huh?
Oh yeah. So I haven't been out since June. That's been pretty tough. But I'll be out not this next weekend, but the following after the fair. So
okay,
got a little trip planned. So
good for you, and get that in. You and your brother, Father Brad, when you were growing up, obviously you had the brother Andrew too, but. Do you guys ever kind of, give each other a hard time, or where was St. Joseph where you were growing up in the parish? Was that anything that sense of being in St. Joseph Parish? Was he a figure in your spiritual life at that time, or?
I guess a little bit. So my dad became Catholic in early 2000s. I forget the exact year now. And
we've got about 30 seconds. So yeah.
Okay, so after he became Catholic, then that was kind of the important part about St. Joseph being the head of the family and patron saint of fathers, and that kind of, I remember Dad talking about that quite a bit and how important that was to him anyway. So
okay, all right. And you're in the neighboring parish now to Father Brad, Holy Trinity in St. Pius.
Yep.
So I understand you've had him over a few times. So your ministry to priest program continues. But Ben Robey, thank you so much for this little glimpse into the inner workings of the state fair.
Well, thanks for having me. This is quite an enjoyable reprieve from the daily grind.
Happy to oblige.
This has been another edition of Making It Personal with Bishop Joensen. Thank you to our guests and all of our listeners in Iowa, Nebraska, and Wisconsin.
You can hear Making It Personal with Bishop William Joensen every week on Iowa Catholic Radio and iowacatholicradio.com.
Support for Iowa Catholic Radio and Making It Personal is provided by Sarah Vocations Ministry. Learn more at joinserra.org.